Well, hello. It's been a while. Welcome back to my channel. I have been gone for a minute and I haven't been inspired whatsoever to really film content at all. I'm 23 weeks pregnant. I don't know if you can kind of see the belly, but I'm rocking it today. Today I'm going to wear my belly with pride even though I can barely breathe. But I thought I'd jump on here because I'm starting to finally feel a slight bit of inspiration. So let me update you on what's been happening here. Clearly, I'm pregnant. Clearly, I'm pregnant. and it's been a tough season. If you guys have listened to any of my previous podcasts, you know that we recently moved out here to Miami, Florida from Scottsdale, Arizona with barely enough to make the deposit into a house. And it has been trouble, wilderness season, desert season, even for the past, I want to say 5 months since we got here. And God showed us a lot in these moments and seasons, but it was tough. I know that people say, especially if you're a content creator, make sure you're filming those moments that are tough because these are the moments that people want to see. But when you're in the trenches, when you're deep in it, the last thing you want to do is hit the record button and let the world see you cry or talk about all of the problems, all of your problems. It just feels very, I don't know, woe is me. Like, I don't want you guys to sympathize me because I know that God has been putting me through all of this for a reason, and I agree with it, and I want His will to be done in my life. And so I got kind of tired of saying the same thing because I had been praying the same prayer, asking God for the same things, which is financial blessings, a little bit of financial freedom. And it took months and months of waiting and continuing to show up and praying to God and praying ceaselessly. I finally know what it means to pray ceaselessly. And then when things didn't happen exactly when I wanted them to, or even pushing beyond that limit, when it didn't happen at the tail end of me giving up and it still didn't happen, I went through a dark stage, a very dark point in my journey with God where I felt like I just couldn't find it in me to open the Bible. I couldn't find it in me to continue to show up. I was feeling pretty, not resentful, but a little discouraged with God and feeling like, feeling helpless is a better word for it. I felt like whatever I was praying for and asking for, God wasn't going to give it to me anyway. In my mind, I had it built out that God will bless me whenever He sees fit. And all of my prayers are useless against God's will. And I wanted to jump on this podcast today. I wanted to share with you some of the lessons that I learned with that mindset is you cannot allow your discouragement to dig you deep into a hole of depression and basically giving up on God. Like we could say, okay, yes, we know that God is the Almighty Yahweh. He's the King of all kings, and He can make all things happen with the breath, with one word, with Him breathing on it. He can make it all happen, and we could truly believe that in our souls. But sometimes it's hard to believe that when it's not happening for us. And so then we get into this cycle of saying, well, God's just going to do what He wants to do anyway. So what's the point? And that's kind of where I was at. And I just wanted to encourage you today if you are resonating with what I'm sharing, and I'm sorry if I'm like getting out of breath. It's really hot and I can't breathe. Baby's all squished up, taking all of my space. So I might be a little winded while I do this video, but I just want to encourage you that not to give up on prayer, not to give up on asking God for the things that you want in life. I understand that it can be discouraging. I understand that sometimes when it's not happening, you feel like you just have to admit defeat. You feel like you, maybe you're asking for the wrong thing, like maybe God's hand is not on that prayer. But also maybe he's waiting to see how bad you actually want that prayer. Maybe he's actually wanting you to fight for what you're asking for. And I went to a church this last weekend, a new church. We our old pastor that used to be there in Scottsdale, Arizona, actually just moved out here to Florida, and they're opening up a new church, but they don't have a location yet. And so what they're doing is kind of bopping around to the different churches, and we're exploring new churches and just joining in with them. And so we went last weekend to a new church, and the pastor there was so good. Oh my gosh. History Makers in Pembroke Pines, I think it is. Such a good church, by the way. If you guys want to check them out, please do, because they had this original song, and I'm going to go off on a slight tangent here. They had this original song that was saying, like, I put my stake in the ground. This is the holy round. Something I don't remember exactly what the lyrics were, but my goodness, did it shake my soul. And the premise of the song was basically saying, I am not backing down. This is God's holy ground. I put my stake in the ground. Like, I'm going to fight. I am going to fight. I'm not going to keel over and allow these negative spiral thoughts to bury me so deep that I don't get to see God, that I don't get to experience Him anymore. And it touched my soul. What he talked about was it was mostly about financial stewardship, but the message that I was mostly receiving from that is that God doesn't give you the finished product, but He gives you the seed. He gives you the seed to plant, but He will not plant it for you. You have to plant it yourself. You have to go out there, know the seed that you have, plant the seed with action, and then water it and steward it and give love to it and pour into it for it to grow into the fruit. And I was just thinking to myself, I mean, a lot of things in my life are changing right now. Because I'm pregnant, a lot of my goals and desires to become this, big influencer or whatever is just shifting. I don't know if I even care about all that stuff anymore. At this point, I just want to share with you this journey that is going on in my life in hopes that you can relate and that it might help to some degree, because I know I would love to feel seen, or would have loved to have felt seen during those seasons, and like even now I still feel pretty invisible at times, but it's just nice to have community. But because I'm pregnant, a lot of my desires is not necessarily to create content anymore, or to be being front face, what is it? Front forward, face forward in anything that I do. I've been sticking to doing my TikTok shop stuff where I sell products on TikTok shop, but I'm loving not showing my face in the products. I'm loving just being at home, baking, making food, cleaning up the house. I'm nesting hard. My desires are to want to learn to be a better mother. And while at the same time, there's still this pull of me wanting to create content, but not necessarily having a clear path as to what kind of content I should be creating anymore, because it's shifting. It's constantly shifting. And I'm tired of shifting. But there's something in my soul that wants to create. I just have been feeling so defeated and feeling like my life is boring, like I don't have anything interesting to share. We went through a very tough season. And so I felt like anything I shared was just not useful. And it took me until yesterday for it to really stick to my mind that that is the enemy telling me that my story is not worth being told. It is the enemy telling me that, oh, you're pregnant, so it's okay to just sit around and let your talents go to waste because you're pregnant. Like, give yourself some grace. There's a point in your journey, and I understand needing to take time to yourself and needing to do some personal development and heal and all that. But there's a part in your journey where grace no longer is your friend and it becomes the enemy because you're giving yourself too much of it. And that's what I've been feeling lately. I mean, I get it. I'm giving myself grace. Okay. Like, I'm allowing myself time to rest. I've taken a lot of naps. I am now finally in a place where I get to be a stay-at-home mom, which I'm still working, but I mean, I'm making like, if I'm being honest, I'm making like $200 a week, and my husband's finally, in a place to finally just support and provide for us fully. So I'm completely, I don't really have to work for the money. I just enjoy it. But what I'm saying is I'm allowing myself to rest. So there's that. But there's another part of me that still wants to fight for who I am outside of just being pregnant, outside of just my situation. Because we're always going to be going through different seasons. We're always going to be experiencing something new. A part of us is always going to be changing, which is why I hate the whole niche thing. Don't let me go down that tangent because I will, but I won't today. But we're constantly changing, and there's always going to be a part of us that wants to evolve. And really, the only one stopping you from reaching that next step, that next evolution of you, is you. Now we can sit here and say, well, God hasn't given me a clear vision and I don't know which direction to go. So I'm waiting till God plants that seed for me. But maybe he's waiting for you to plant it. Maybe he gave you the seed. He gave you the desire. He gave you the heart, the fiery passion that you've had before. He gave you that because that's who you are, and he knows that it'll make you happy. But maybe you have to plant that seed. Not maybe, you do. And then when you take the action, God will put his hands on it and bless you if that is in accordance to his will, which his will is for you. For you to live a fulfilling, loving, peaceful life. That's what he wants. And so I've just been in such a negative mindset. Our words are so powerful. My goodness, they are. And I've been telling myself, well, I just live a boring life right now and I have nothing exciting to share. And I'm just pregnant. And I'm so tired all the time. And so many different things were spewing out of my mouth, so much that I believed that I was beginning to plant these bad seeds in my heart and in my soul and in my being. And because I kept saying it out loud, I started to become it. But yesterday was a reminder to not back down, to not go down without a fight. And he said something yesterday. The pastor said, being buried and being planted feel the same. But the difference is when you're being planted, God gives you the strength to step back up. And I was like, yes, Lord, feed me the scripture. Give me motivation because I needed it. And my goodness, it feels the same. It's so true. But one, you got to keep getting back up. You got to keep putting your stake on the ground. You got to keep fighting for what you want. An uncommon life, if that's what you want, is not going to be bred. It's not going to happen if you're living a common life. You have to do stuff outside of the ordinary. You have to push yourself to go beyond your capacity. And now I'm not saying jump from, 1 to 10 and suddenly you're at the top. Like, it takes steps. It takes moments. It takes tiny moments of stretching consistently and allowing yourself to keep adding to your schedule, keep adding to your capacity so that you can handle more. And the same happens in reverse. If you're taking things out of your schedule, you're becoming more and more stagnant, you're getting more and more complacent, that will eventually become your normal. And I cannot believe how much of the enemy I was believing. I I brought myself here. I took the fight out of myself. Now, I can give myself grace for the season I was in, right? We weren't making a lot of money. We could barely afford groceries. We were late on rent multiple months in a row. God literally gave us just enough mana to barely make it. But we're finally in a place where we're able to start spending a little bit more money. I went to go to the Dollar Tree and got a bunch of Christmas decorations, and I spent $80. And I know that that's not a lot of money, but for me, that was a lot to spend on decor. I'm now having a full fridge of groceries. I spent $250 on groceries just this last weekend, and before that was like 300. And I'm finally there. And yet, for some reason, my mind keeps sticking to the old story that was happening to me months ago because I repeated that cycle of thinking, well, we're not going to have enough for it anyway. Or, well, we don't have extra money to spend. And so I even held this amount of shame and guilt going to the Dollar Tree to go get Christmas decorations. And because I worked myself backwards and regressed and was in this state of depression, I have to bring myself back out. Now, I'm not alone. That's the beauty of it, right? But I have Christ. We have God. We get to lean on him and he gets to give us the strength. But this is where I was trying to do it alone, is I was so discouraged because of the tough season we were in that I wasn't asking God for his strength. I was simply sitting in it. I was simply dwelling in my own depression, feeling sad and sorry for myself. I mean, my husband even told me the other day, like a couple of days ago, he's like, babe, you have to snap out of this. This is not you. And I knew it. And it was irritating to hear because I knew that there was truth in it. I'm like, yeah, you're right. This isn't me. But I'm struggling to see my power right now. I'm struggling to feel empowered. And so I just want to encourage you that if you are in a cycle, in a story that continues to repeat itself, I want to give you some fire today to break out of that. Fight. Put your stake in the ground and stand up for yourself. Fight, because this life is all that you have. Make it worth it. Make it worth living for. Do not let the enemy tell you that you're not worth it, that your story is boring, that you're not creative enough, that you're not smart enough. Don't let the enemy fool you into thinking those lies, because that is a lie. That's what he does. And the only way that he wins is if you give up. And so I just really hope that this message comes across. I hope you feel the passion that I'm hoping to transfer through this screen right now. But I want you to fight. I'm 23 weeks pregnant. I'm sweating right now. I can barely breathe. But that doesn't mean I'm out of the fight. Yeah, I'm a little more vulnerable right now. I might be slower, for sure. And maybe I'm not going to produce as much content as I used to, but I'm going to build myself back up to a higher capacity, because that's what I'm capable of and that's what I deserve. And you deserve that too. So pour into yourself again. Find that fire. Fight for the fire. And even if it is one small act that you do today that takes you in the step of the direction that you want to go, do it. One small step sparks one small fire, and that small fire can start a wildfire in your life. And so I didn't want to film this video today. It's 2 o'clock, and normally I'm taking a nap by now, but I just hit record, and this is what it is. And I'm just going to post this, and it's going to be what it's going to be. But this is my small act of courage that I'm taking. I said, I want to create a life from sharing my thoughts with you, sharing this walk and journey with you. And so the only way to get there is by doing the act and planting the seed and showing up every single day. This video is my way of doing that. So ask yourself, what small step can you take today that is in the direction that you want to go? And take it. Plant your seed. Put your stake in the ground and let God do the rest. He will bless your works. You just can't give up. You cannot give up. So I love you. Thank you for joining in on another episode. My goal is to start launching at least one episode again once a week. I think that I'm capable of it. No. See, I'm doing it again. I am capable of it. I'm going to commit. And even if it means we just rant about whatever, this is my commitment to you. This is my commitment to myself. This is my commitment to God and to the fight. And I hope you fight this fight with me, because it is going to be worth it if we continue to show up. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. I need to stretch out and lay out and breathe. But I love you. Thanks for sticking around. This has been a wild journey, and I will see you on the next episode. Mwah.